Loose nukes. Terrorists will stop at nothing to make an atomic bomb. Here in the former Soviet Union, 1,000 tons of poorly guarded nuclear material is up for grabs. But a new breed of cop is coming to the rescue with new tools, new techniques, and new tactics. Meet the nuclear police, next on Discover Magazine. Somewhere in the former Soviet Union, a theft is taking place. It's a crime that is repeated hundreds of times. In the midst of economic and political turmoil of the post-communist era, a nuclear worker is committing a theft that could have global consequences. What's being stolen here is uranium, an essential ingredient for the most destructive weapon on Earth. Welcome to the 21st century. Today, terrorists and rogue nations will stop at nothing to obtain a nuclear weapon. To stop nuclear theft, the United States is creating an international corps of nuclear police in the former Soviet Union. They're training foreign commandos the anti-terrorist tactics of U.S. Army Special Forces, teaching border agents the Native American art of tracking smugglers, and equipping checkpoint personnel with U.S.-designed high-tech nuclear warning devices. But the nuclear clock is ticking. If atomic bomb-making materials end up in the wrong hands, the United States could face a nuclear nightmare. The problem begins in December 1991, when the USSR collapses. Left in its wake are 15 independent states and over 50 poorly guarded nuclear facilities, holding over 2.5 million pounds of bomb-ready nuclear fuel.
When the Soviet Union collapsed, the entire system of security collapsed with it. The system of the Stukach, the informant, those that reported on the activities of fellow workers in a plant, monitored and managed by the KGB, all came to an end. This was the main defense, the fear, the question, am I being watched? Who knows what I'm doing? This collapsed overnight, was replaced by nothing.
Georgy Karadza is director of the Tbilisi Institute of Physics in Soviet Georgia. When the USSR collapsed, he was forced to guard weapons-grade uranium at this nuclear reactor himself.
We were responsible for protection of this material here. And I have to tell you that we had no armed guard here for some period of time. So we were protecting this territory ourselves. It was a very dangerous period of time.
Rusted out weapons plants, crumbling storage sites, and ramshackle reactor buildings, all targets for nuclear theft. So the United States launches into action. You are about to witness Operation Sapphire, a top-secret mission few people know about, and even fewer have ever seen. Under the cover of darkness, 1,300 pounds of weapons-grade uranium from a deserted Soviet nuclear site are brought to an airstrip in Kazakhstan. As day breaks, the Americans swoop in. It's part of a deal in which the United States buys all of the nuclear materials for $100 million. Security is tight as Air Force personnel load the C-5 Galaxy supertransport. There's enough uranium here to make 36 nuclear bombs. Danger is high because on the ground it's a sitting duck for nuclear terrorists. And in the air, it's a flying disaster waiting to happen. For it would be catastrophic if the transport crashed. The plane flies over 5,000 miles non-stop, aided by aerial refueling. 20 hours later, the nuclear material is safe on American soil. The mission is a success, but it only scratches the surface. Over 1,000 tons of bomb-grade material remain in the former Soviet Union, mostly in Russia, where sometimes a simple padlock and a single guard are all that stand in the way of a nuclear smuggler. The United States is trying to buy more of this poorly guarded material, but the negotiations are dangerously slow. So if it can't be purchased, it must be protected. This is the type of security the U.S. would like to see in the former Soviet Union. It's an elite force of nuclear police who defend the Hanford nuclear site in Washington state. Outfitted in Kevlar body armor, armed with submachine guns, and equipped with radiation detectors. These nuclear cops take no prisoners and shoot to kill. They are specially trained to infiltrate, neutralize,
we got material in the room! Stand by! Checking the net!
and safely recover nuclear materials that fall into the wrong hands.
Facility is secured. Stand by for status check.
The U.S. hopes to train and equip nuclear security forces throughout the former Soviet Union. But these plans have yet to be fully implemented. Today, it remains fairly easy to steal nuclear materials from the former Soviet Union. A nuclear crime may occur as often as once a week. Once stolen, the material can be smuggled south through countries like Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, on its way to rogue nations or terrorists in the Middle East. This isolated border crossing is one of over 500 possible routes for smuggling nuclear material out of the former Soviet Union. In any one of these vehicles, ingredients to make a nuclear bomb could be hidden. But it's virtually impossible to detect, until now. The United States is training and equipping the border guards of the former Soviet Union with the most advanced nuclear detection technology. Here's what a suspected vehicle will encounter. First, there's a gamma densitometer called the buster. This device measures the density of an object. An air-filled tire normally has a low density, but one filled with nuclear material will register a high density. Around larger parts of a vehicle, agents can use a device called the radiation pager. It detects gamma rays emitted by nuclear materials. The higher the number, the stronger the radioactivity.
Without a radiation detector, it becomes difficult to say that, yes, that's radioactive material, because radiation is neither seen nor felt. And so that's why a lot of the radiation sensors are so important. But even that may not detect things that are well concealed and well shielded.
That's why a border guard needs a new high-tech tool that allows a closer look at cargo. It's the ultrasonic pulse echo system, and it scans the inside of the drum using sonar. A sonar-emitting sensor is placed on the outside of the container and bounces sound waves off of the opposite wall.
I now have sound traveling across the container and back to me. So now I can move this transducer up the side of the container vertically, and when I no longer hear the sound, that means I am above the level of the fill, or there's some item in there that is blocking the sound from getting to the far wall.
The operator discovers something suspicious inside.
There's something that's blocking the sound from this bottom section, and then from about this area over. So whatever's in this container is not situated right in the center of the container. It's off a little bit. And see what's inside this container.
The ultrasonic system has pinpointed the exact location of a mysterious metallic ingot.
Cinder block in the bottom of this.
One final device in a border agent's arsenal can quickly tell a border guard in the former Soviet Union if this is an ingredient for a nuclear bomb. This special probe measures the flow of electricity or conductivity through any metal. The probe's reading is input into a computer system with a vast identification database. Since every metal has its own electrical signature, the computer is able to instantly identify the questioned material.
All the training we provide to these nations is with the hope of helping mankind in general, and also helping it such that those items do not ever delivered on U.S. soil.
With tighter security at official checkpoints throughout the former Soviet Union, smugglers may try to take a different route. This is just a small section of the thousands of miles of unguarded border of the former Soviet Union. Smugglers daring the elements can cross right over this border, completely undetected. But a Native American technique is helping border agents of the former Soviet Union solve the nuclear smuggling problem. They're learning to track footprints. Here along the 175-mile Arizona-Mexico border, a team of Native American customs agents hunt smugglers of every kind. They're called the Shadow Wolves. And already they've been to Belarus, Lithuania, and Ukraine to teach the way of the tracker.
No technology can replace this. This is simple. Look at the ground, because it'll tell you a story. It's plain and simple, and it's there. It's just interpreting everything. And that's how you succeed out here.
Officers Marvin Elizondo and Eric Gano like to do their tracking at night, when smugglers are most active.
This guy's running here. I don't know why.
It looks like maybe sometime
last night, so I mean, this guy's long gone wherever he's running to.
The space between tracks reveals the speed of the suspect.
And there's nothing in between here, between that footprint.
Knowing the recent weather helps determine when they pass through, because wind and rain erode footprints over time.
See the difference in there? This is clear.
And the depth of the footprint tells the agents how much weight the suspect is carrying. Sometimes they can even tell what the suspect is wearing. Here, an inconspicuous piece of evidence gives the smuggler away.
If you look up here, what you got is you've got a piece of fiber that somebody got caught on there. That there's a cotton fiber. It looks like it probably came from somebody's heavier garment because it is kind of cool out here right now. It's just more evidence that's left as you're following the trail.
A fresh track far from town always raises suspicions.
These weren't here yesterday. I'm just kind of wondering, you know, what he's doing this far out here, because the closest village from here is quite a distance from here, maybe about a good 5 miles.
A little high-tech help supplements the ancient art. These night vision goggles can see a flashlight 10 miles away.
See a little light over there. It indicates a flashlight.
A four-wheel drive vehicle equipped with side lights helps them follow the tracks at a faster pace. Still, their ability to read the sand is what ultimately gives them an edge. These footprints, barely visible, reveal a smuggler's trick.
The other one's right along here.
The smuggler has tied shag onto his feet to mask his presence. It's a disguise used around the world. The officers call them carpet people.
When we see carpet like this, we know that it is contraband. Marijuana, cocaine, it could be heroin, it could be computer parts used for nuclear trigger devices. The things that we find out here through investigations, if we can stop it here, we can stop it from happening.
Finally, they teach one last technique. Smugglers usually travel at night and sleep during the day. So make your final move when the smuggler least expects it.
Hey, sit down, sit down! Get him back, show me your hand.
The Shadow Wolves will teach their skills to over 140 agents in 7 different countries.
Quit wrestling around. Stay down.
It is the Native American art of tracking, developed centuries ago to hunt, now being used throughout the former Soviet Union to stop the most modern of problems, nuclear smuggling. (1999). Somewhere in Russia, a nuclear worker is stealing material that could be used to make a bomb. This is the true story of the Veliko case, a story that will reveal the very last line of defense against nuclear theft. As in most cases, the initial crime goes undetected. The smuggler has managed to evade the first line of defense, the security at poorly guarded nuclear facilities. He's heading south, out of Russia, toward the Middle East. Now he must cross a border. Perhaps the smuggler will elude guards at an official checkpoint. Or perhaps he will cross over a remote mountain border. Either way, the material is entering the small country of Georgia.
There are certain choke points in which nuclear material can flow through. That's where we want to stop it. We want to stop it here in Georgia as one of the key choke points in the world.
This is the final line of defense. It's a combination of U.S.-trained Georgian anti-terrorist forces and a network of undercover agents who are rooting out black market smugglers and tracking nuclear terrorists. In July of 1999, these Georgian undercover agents discover that a known nuclear smuggler named Veliko Chemekvadze is back in Georgia. He's an alleged member of the Chechen mafia and has recently spent time in a Turkish prison for possession of stolen nuclear materials. Somewhere in Georgia, he may have uranium, and he may be looking for a buyer. For the next 3 months, undercover agents follow Veliko's every move. On September 20th, 1999, agents tail Veliko as he heads south towards the Turkish border, a gateway to the Middle East. As he passes into the Georgian border city of Batumi, agents devise a plan. Local traffic police are instructed to pull his car over. Then they make their move. This surveillance video, seen here for the first time ever, reveals the fate of Veliko. There he is, exiting the rear of the car. In an instant, agents descend upon the vehicle, arresting all of the passengers. Right at the side of the road, Veliko is ordered to reveal his nuclear contraband. He is caught red-handed with 219 pellets of reactor-grade uranium. Ironically, while it's the raw ingredients for the most destructive weapons on Earth, it can be handled safely with bare hands.
Because of his previous links with individuals in Turkey who could easily transport this material to destinations such as Iran or the bin Laden terrorist organization, the assumption is that it had a Middle East destination or was meant for a terrorist group.
Today, the last line of defense has worked. But Veliko avoids the customary 5-year prison sentence and gets a mere 6 months behind bars, reportedly because of his old age. He could soon be back in action, in a world where hundreds of tons of weapons-grade materials are still out there, being stored in aging nuclear facilities. The United States is doing everything possible to stop the flow of nuclear material by buying up supplies, training checkpoint personnel, and securing vulnerable borders. But it's an uphill battle, a fight that will hopefully prevent a nuclear catastrophe from ever occurring.